Think back to Scandinavian cinema in the late 90s. The prevailing image is dark, austere, and grounded in the strict aesthetic rules of Dogme 95. By the 2004 and 2005 release slate, that image had changed completely. Denmark was suddenly producing an explosion of highly commercial, genre-bending cinema. This was followed by Strings, a multi-million-dollar fantasy epic with complex mythology, featuring a cast made entirely of intricately carved practical wooden marionettes. These provocative productions attracted veteran Hollywood actors like Danny Glover, who sought out unconventional roles within a nation of just 5 million people. During the same period, female directors began to consistently dominate the domestic box office. This roster represented a vast commercial ecosystem. These women were directing the mainstream, crowd-pleasing blockbusters that defined the national film industry. Denmark had managed to engineer a film industry that was wildly diverse and fiercely egalitarian and immensely profitable. The strictures of Dogme 95 functioned as a rigorous, high-pressure training ground for an entire generation of filmmakers. By removing artificial lighting and elaborate props, directors were forced to master eye-level emotional storytelling. They learned to hold an audience's attention using only the strength of the performances and the script. They later carried this foundation into glossy commercial genres. In the political thriller Den Tredje Magten, the director used that signature psychological rawness to ground the high-stakes drama occurring inside Christiansborg Palace. This story-over-spectacle approach also allowed their animation to compete globally. By focusing on narrative depth rather than raw processing power, their low-budget 3D films could match the impact of major Hollywood studios. Mastering these bare essentials provided filmmakers with a foundation in character-driven storytelling that remained effective even as they moved into high-budget, genre-heavy productions. While individual skill is vital, these directors were supported by a unique institutional system. Unlike the competitive environment of Hollywood, Denmark utilizes the systemic nurturing of the Danish Film Institute. The Institute and the National Film School prioritize ambitious, high-risk artistic visions, often placing them ahead of immediate commercial returns. This funding pipeline shows how the state actively subsidized experimental projects. Capital flowed directly into high-risk genre prototypes that a traditional, profit-driven studio would typically reject. This financial safety net allowed directors to maintain their creative authority. They could refuse the compromises often required by international distributors to water down a film's vision. Predictable, state-backed funding created the stability required for filmmakers to take genuine creative risks. The success of Danish female directors in the mid-2000s remains a significant outlier in global cinema. The directors themselves emphasized that this parity was not achieved through industry quotas or positive discrimination at the funding level. The actual catalyst was decades of progressive social policies that addressed the structural barriers to demanding, time-intensive careers. Factors like universal childcare and the cultural normalization of equal parenting responsibilities allowed directors to maintain their careers while raising families. In many other film hubs, talented women frequently exit the industry when forced to choose between production schedules and family life. The Danish experience suggests that a gender-equal film industry is a byproduct of how a society is organized at the local level. This ecosystem allowed a small nation to repeatedly stand on the Cannes red carpet, projecting a creative footprint far larger than its population would suggest. We often view cinematic golden ages as a series of lucky accidents, a random grouping of individual geniuses who happen to appear at the same time. The Danish Blueprint offers a different explanation. Their success was built on a combination of specialized education, risk-tolerant funding, and a robust social safety net. Ultimately, the Danish model demonstrates that a thriving film industry is the result of engineering the soil, the infrastructure and social support that allow individual talent to reach its full potential.